Over the last few years, something has changed in Florida. Housing that a lot of buyers don't fully understand yet. That is yet. And surprisingly, it's not just the mortgage rates. For many homeowners, the biggest shock has actually been insurance. Home insurance, flood insurance, and in some cases, both. Not a lot of cases. Some homeowners have been seen with their premiums doubling, if not more. Others have struggled just to find a company even willing to insure their homes at all. I'm not joking. And if you're buying or selling or thinking about even, just moving possibly to Florida, this issue matters more than most people realize, if not the most. So today I want to break down what's actually happening with insurance in Florida. Not just the headlines, trust me, as you can see that on the mainstream news, but a deeper focus on what's behind it. Because the more you understand this issue, the better decisions you can make about housing. And that's why I'm here. The moment that buyers discover the insurance quote, that's what I'm going to talk about. Let's start with a very common scenario. A buyer finds a home they love. Maybe it's a $600,000 home. Let's just use that for an example. They run the mortgage numbers, right? The payment looks manageable to them. They're excited. They start imagining their life in their new home. But then the insurance quote comes back. And suddenly, the monthly payment jumps hundreds of dollars, sometimes even thousands, and if not more. For some buyers, that moment, they realize that the total cost of owning a home in Florida, or at least in that area, is just not gonna happen no matter what the mortgage is. It's the entire financial structure around that home. Insurance, taxes, maintenance, and sometimes flood insurance as well, which actually, to be honest, a lot of times. And when buyers discover that late in the process, it can completely change their whole decision. Completely. Yeah. Totally change it. What insurance actually, their companies are actually doing to evaluate things. See, many people assume insurance pricing is random. It's not. Insurance companies, they analyze risk in extremely detailed ways. For example, roof age matters a lot. A brand new roof is viewed very differently than a roof that is 15 years old. Construction type matters. Concrete block homes are generally viewed as lower risk than wood frame homes. Wind mitigation features matter. Things like hurricane straps impact windows, and reinforced roofs can lower the risk big time. Distance from the cost matters. Homes closer to water often face higher exposure to storms. That's a given. Prior insurance claims also matter. Let's talk about that. A property that has had multiple claims in the past may be viewed differently by insurance companies. All these factors combine to determine how a property is evaluated from a risk perspective, and that's what they are. How about why companies left Florida? Another major reason that the insurance cost increased is that many companies stopped writing policies in Florida. Yeah. Some insurers went bankrupt. Others simply decided the risk was too high, I'm out. When companies leave a market like Florida, competition decreases big time. And when competition decreases, it's like anything else, prices often will rise. This is one of the reasons Florida homeowners began hearing more and more about Citizens Insurance. Yeah. Should look it up more than what I'm saying even. But I'll explain. Citizens Insurance is very essential actually to Florida state. It's a backed insurer. It was designed to be a safety net. A place that homeowners could go if private insurance companies were unwilling to insure their property. Over time, as more companies left, the state's, more homeowners ended up on Citizens policies. For many people, Citizens became the only available option, at least in their minds. That doesn't necessarily mean something is wrong. I will have to tell you that. No, not something's wrong with the home. No. It often just means the insurance market became tighter. The reinsurance issue, okay? There's another layer to all of this that many people don't know about or understand. Insurance companies themselves, they buy insurance themselves on themselves. See what I mean? They insure themselves. It's called reinsurance. So reinsurance protects insurance companies from catastrophic losses. After a large disaster happens. But when global disasters increase, reinsurance becomes more expensive. And when reinsurance costs rise, insurance companies pass some of that cost down, of course, like everybody does, through your premiums. So, the roof problem in Florida. Let's talk about that. It's a big deal. Roof age has become one of the biggest issues, to be honest, affecting insurance in Florida right now. Many issuers now require roofs to be below a certain age. thresholds. Even if the roof is still functioning very well. This is because roofs are one of the most common sources of storm-related claims. So when buyers are evaluating a home, roof age can significantly influence the insurance options. Flood insurance. Misconceptions, which are many. Flood insurance is another area where many people misunderstand how coverage works. Understandably. Insurance usually does not cover flood damage. Yes, even in Florida. Flood insurance is typically a separate policy. And depending on where your home is located, a lender may require an extra flood insurance policy before approving that mortgage. Even homes that are not directly on the coast, and you're like, huh? But they fall within the flood zone. So when buyers are budgeting for a home, it's important to consider whether flood insurance might also be required. What buyers should do. For buyers navigating Florida housing markets today, there are a few practical steps that can help you avoid surprises. First, get insurance quotes early in the process. Don't wait until the last minute. A lot of people do. Don't. Second, ask about the roof. Third, ask about flood zones and evaluation. Fourth, understand the full monthly cost of ownership before committing to a purchase. But wait, what should sellers understand? Sellers also need to understand how insurance is going to affect the buyers today because they're selling. Buyers are calculating affordability, differently than they did a few years ago, or maybe when you bought. Insurance cost, interest rates, taxes, the HOA fees is a huge factor in many places with ownership within Florida. We all know that. Homes that are well maintained with newer roofs and strong mitigation features often attract more confident buyers. Why Florida housing still attracts people. Despite these challenges, of course, I don't want to be all doom and gloom, because it's not. Florida still remains one of the most popular places people want to move and are moving to in the United States. The lifestyle, the climate, that's why I'm here. The absence of state income tax. The beaches, another reason why I'm here. Economic growth in many areas. All of these factors continue to attract new residents continually. So while insurance has become an important variable in the housing market, it's only one piece of a much larger picture. Real estate decisions are rarely simple, let's face it. Especially in a market like Florida, where insurance, housing demand, mitigation patterns are all evolving. But the more people understand how these forces work, the better decisions they can make. And if you're trying to navigate buying, selling, or relocating to Florida and want help, thinking through your options, feel free to reach out to me. I'm always happy to help people who want to be serious about it and need informed decisions about Florida. See you in the next video.